cliffside. My pronouns are they, them. And this is Cliffside Permaculture. What are you doing up there, Crazy? Hello! Would you like a full tour? You'll be very happy to know that I have the wind sock on. I don't think you can comprehend how windy it is right now, but it's much better than it's been. It's just a steady breeze. We have it in the 70s today, I believe. It's a very nice day. And I've got some additional daffodils popping. These little ones. And those two-tone ones are new. There's a few other new ones around. And it's smelling wonderful because the hyacinths are bloomed. So, yeah, let's have a look around. It's the second to last day of March. And let's go find out what our temperature converts to. Yeah, so it's low 70s, which makes it like, what's that say, 22? Give or take a little? Something along those lines. These purple ones are my favorites. So every time I get a chance to divide some, I do it. And I really enjoy how this bank of flowers unfurls as it gets warmer, because the sun hits this spot the most, and then it slowly gets more shaded as it goes this way. So on this end we have a fully opened hyacinth and some pretty fresh daffodils, another fully opened hyacinth, but some somewhat spent early daffodils. Here we have a almost open and a basically finished crocus. And then as you move up, there's a pretty much closed hyacinth and some still somewhat fresh crocus along with the daffodils. So that's a nice spring introduction. I'm also very happy to see that my big puffball topped alliums are doing really well right there. That hopefully I'll get to divide a bunch of those. They are the flower that is best filling this little gap that I had, that I didn't have anything to feed the bees with. So that's wonderful. There's like a late May gap. It kind of depends on the year as to when in May it falls. I've also had, I don't have many Glory of the Snow, but the ones that I do have are also blooming right now throughout the garden. So, oh yeah, the shredded ones are starting to open a bit too. These historic shredded daffodils that I got from in front of a house down the street. I'm also very tempted to go dig up some ones from a vacant lot up the street. They are so overcrowded that they no longer bloom. I would be really fascinated to see what's in there, but like, my gosh, look at me. I'm ridiculous. What am I gonna do with more daffodils? I guess plant the cliff. It's not like they seed easily. It's not like they'll get invasive. So, the trench project remains stalled at this point here. We had a massive, like in 24 hours, I think we got 3 inches or more of rain, and an inch, well, times that by somewhere around 3.5 per each inch, and you'll get your centimeter number. So, and my porch didn't flood already. And I haven't even added the trench to this section because I'm intimidated by needing to move a rhubarb. That's why it hasn't happened yet. Those are quite the project to relocate. If you've never tried it, like, whoa. I'm also really happy to see that my my rooted cuttings, at least one of these is showing signs of life. I'm hoping that these will root Saskatoon. That's also in the way of where I want my trench to go, though, so I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I'm also keeping a close eye on the cuttings I took off of the elderberry, but I think in order to keep my elderberry stock stable, I'm going to have to do more than what I've just done for these. So in this row, there's several sticks, and a couple of them are still doing great. You can see the greening up on this one here. And I had at least one more that it was leafing out. And I was looking at it earlier just this morning, so it's not missing, I'm just not immediately seeing it. So, yeah. Elderberries are really popular. I have not yet figured out a best method that works for me, so that is an ongoing project. It's also about time to start. That one doesn't look like it took either. That's how you can tell, is will it just snap, right? It's about time to take inventory, because we got a delay in taxes. I also want to move some of these, specifically the buffalo currant, because they get really aggressive and I don't particularly want to deal with that, if I'm fully honest. So that would be nice to not have to. So there's a good portion of the upper nursery there. Hold on a moment, there's someone who wants to say hi. Stay there. Stay there if you want to say hi. Yeah, you go, baby. Thank you. Thank you. This is Oops. Oops is a good kitty. Oops likes being on top of the door. I had to give Oops a shelf. Didn't I, sweetness? See, Oops is going to keep screaming at it as we go around the garden. I was also able to identify that I have at least 2 sprouting, possibly 3, but at least 2 of what I am 90% sure are the sea kale roots sprouting already from the order I did from Edible Acres. And I'm gonna do a single video of it by itself just to get the word out better, because I goofed and it got like really good reviews, so I need to make sure I get the best like info dispersal method, not just crammed in the middle of a tour. But the Mioga ginger is actually not sprouted yet. The sprout turns out to be just a rogue garlic. They get everywhere. Escape garlic. I have not yet gotten, to my surprise, I have not yet received my plant order, my bare root plant order. I think they'll email me when they are sending it, though, so I don't think I need to panic yet, but they did say end of March on their website for my zone. Oh well. Here we have a bunch of young Saskatoons amidst wood chips that are inoculated just like here with wine cap. Back here we have some cuttings from hazelnuts. This is a Pixwell gooseberry, which is West Coast native gooseberry. It's a little stabby, but it's not terrible. In here, well, these are also going to be Saskatoons. My property goes to the other side of the daffodils. Like when daffodils stop, it's not my yard anymore. This is the mature Saskatoons, and the ones in the pots are mostly seeded ones. I have a young sour cherry popping up that I'm not sure if I want to move, but I better decide soon. And Pawpaws, Thornless Blackberry. The critters love eating it, which is brand new, but I know thornless ramblers like to get eaten. In the back, I need to keep an eye out for the ground nuts I planted. These are alpine strawberries, right down a seam in the box there. Several more nursery stock items as well as here. Those are all echinacea. This is like a really random mix. And let's see, we got asparagus that I think it's about time to start clearing the asparagus plot, because we're gonna have asparagus any minute now. I try to hold off as long as I can, because that way the bugs have somewhere to be, you know? We have Grecian wildflowers popping up there. Anemones, anemones, I don't know how you say it. Little flower thingies. And a bajillion more daffodils. Additional glory of the snow. I planted here a mix of radish and carrots from the Experimental Farm Network that are winter hardy to Minnesota rainbow carrots. So that'll be nice. This is a unique flower color. The onions are all set up in here. I still have a few too many, but I'll be able to plant the strawberries in here in spite of all the onions. Maybe I just need to eat some more. They're very strong. These two-tones are kind of nice too. They're everywhere, though. They're very aggressively dividing. Yeah, currant, yostaberry, joe pie, these sticks. This area is kind of devoid of anything because that's where the buffalo currant came out of. And I know I have at least one more that keeps resprouting right here. I need to keep an eye out for that so I can transplant it as soon as I see it this year. Because it was too late in the fall when I found it last year to get it out without it just heaving. Need to keep an eye out for that. And this is going to be my planting area. I am hoping that somewhere through this area that I didn't put new soil on top of, I'm hoping that some of last year's tomatoes will sprout. My beast variety, the, what do I call them? Gorilla tomatoes. They're like literally if you drop a tomato, it'll grow. It's just kind of how it is. There's rhubarb all along the back here. This is a columnar apple. This is a sweet cherry. Theoretically, if it doesn't die, it seems to more want to die than be alive. We have haskaps or honeyberries. Here and here it does need two varieties. This one keeps getting sun scorched though, so I'm going to give it some shade with something else tucked in there. Have two different more rhubarbs and a ronia berry, and then that's a sour cherry up in the middle there as well. And these are going to be my annuals. A lot of times I end up planting tomatoes in here as well, but there's at least some exposed soil that will allow for, you know, resprouting. This is an apple. I think it's getting ready to bloom, I think, unless it's its skip year. It might be having a skip year. And then there's going to be a persimmon here when it comes in the mail. Let's go have a look at the cliff. Along here I have thornless raspberries in the protection, but they're not protected enough. They get chewed on where they sprout out from this little cage. So I want to put some shorter thornless raspberries in there. And then along here, it got heavily browsed by bunnies, but along here is hazelnuts that are going to slowly replace the massively invasive Rosa Sharon hedge that I unfortunately end up sharing with my neighbor. Goji, This is an Illinois mulberry that looks like it's a little bit worse for the wear. There's a very dry twig that's definitely dead, but at least some of it's still got buds on it. Maypop, New England aster, or maybe New York aster. Theoretically in here there's gonna be a, oh, let's see if I get the name right this time. I always get it wrong, don't I? It's not Tayberry, is it? It's Thimbleberry? Is it Thimbleberry or is it Tayberry? I always say it wrong. And more hazelnuts. This one's actually flowering. And then we got the tire stairs and a whole extra tire at the bottom too that I have to kind of step around. Along here, I should have, provided they survived, several coppice wood. This has buds. That's an alder, I think, or maybe this one's the alder, which doesn't, well, there's, yes, that's the alder. These are willow, black willow, which I'm gonna coppice the wood and make like baskets and pole wood and stuff. There's several, so there's several trees down here. There's a black cherry, American elm. So these trees are all, you know, ready to be transplanted to somebody. Yeah. And then here's some, well, we walked past one already. Here's more of that garlic. I should have known that could have been what it was. And this is the buffalo currant. It should bloom and fruit this year. It should. It was in since fall. That's gonna be a flowering dogwood, the Floridica variety. This one's gonna be Celtis occidentalis, which I think I have the southern hackberry as opposed to the occidentalis as a native plant here, which is odd because we're more north than the south, I think. A bunch of elderberries were in here. Yeah, there's at least one more, but they are very popular. I need to make sure I have a way to re-up. I need to go down to the reservoir. Here's more goji. These are all potted of, these are ready to go sunchokes. Haven't done much on that section yet, other than stabilize it, which is a big deal. And I also haven't done much here, but we have a black haw viburnum and a black cherry tree planted in real good and seem to have survived the winter. Oh yeah, it's got a lot of buds on it. That's great. How'd you do? So yeah, down here there's a lot of weeds. Oh, wow. Okay, it didn't like its exposure spot, but wow, look how good that's doing. Great. So down here there's a lot of weeds because I don't want to destabilize the hill, and most of the invasives were here when I got here, so there's very little I can do to change it in a fast way, but I can change it in a slow way without causing more problems. I'm hoping that my asters and staghorn sumac short variety seed dispersal in the fall will pan out down here. I brought a whole bunch of seeds down and threw them in here, and that's always a good thing. If they don't take, then at least the birds got a meal. Keep trying, you know. Those are both seeds that should take. So yeah, that's the garden, the whole tour. Here's the other of the buffalo currant. It's still technically potted up. I do want to get that. Oh, look, it is going to bloom real soon. That's great. And then this lump is here. This is hopefully gonna take with the mushroom spawn I put in it. I put Phoenix oyster in there. And Phoenix oyster, oh wow, I think those are daffodils. there. Huh. Phoenix oyster is one of the few that prefers evergreens. So that's good. And pretty soon I'm going to be pulling some of these out and calling them food. So, yep. Those are daylilies, by the way. The greens and the roots are all edible, as well as the flowers are quite delicious later in the season. So, there's a nice little permaculture tour of the cliffside. Thank you so much for visiting the cliffside. This has been permaculture. Take care. Bye.